dark, gory, and grimy. This is Resident Evil 3. Now, let's get into our review. Resident Evil 3 is the newest remade Resident Evil game. Quickly following the success of last year's remake of Resident Evil 2, RE3 follows Jill Valentine as she tries to escape a zombie-infested Raccoon City. The game puts you square into the horror of the T-virus infection, made only more terrifying by the looming threat of a militarized and inhuman beast, Nemesis, made by the pharmaceutical giant Umbrella Corps, as a way to silence any inquiry into the T-virus's origin. Without a doubt, the game starts out strong, creating a petrifying atmosphere in a place of normal safety like the home. The virus's presence is obviously seen to affect Jill as she stares into the mirror, making sure she's okay. There's little clues sprinkled throughout the apartment, suggesting Umbrella Corps' participation in the creation of her virus. And then, a phone call.
Alright, I'm coming. Hello?
This is for Rachel, you big, fat, white, nasty, smelling, fat bitch. Why you took me off the motherfucking schedule with your trifling, dirty, white, racist ass, you big, fat...
Alright, let me grab my...
And BAM! You're thrown against the wall by Nemesis, powerless in its sight, gunfire not working, thrown around like a rag doll. You try to escape, but to no avail. The music crescendos, and even as you barely escape it, it bursts through the wall, shrouded in fire, and there's nothing left to do but run. The atmosphere is intense, life-threatening, as if the world you know has just ended. And it has. Scenes of the virus's destruction filter throughout the city as you try to escape. The new normal is chaos. It's survival. It's horror. And this is where Resident Evil games, and Resident Evil 3 in particular, shines. If atmosphere helps create the survival horror feel Resident Evil games are most known for, Resident Evil 3 creates that tension and lets it slowly dissipate by fueling the game with a ton of action-based sequences. Fighting zombies feels like a shooter, and when you move to the Carlos sequence, he essentially is made for that shooter role. Carlos is mainly a heavy weapon-wielding, blow through the enemies type character. Fights with Nemesis, the previously inhumane beast, turn into grandiose battles of bullets. There's gonna be a little spoiler here, so skip ahead if you haven't already played this game or the original. This once indestructible, big, bad, looming figure is reduced into a bullet sponge. The final battle is the ultimate action sequence, taking an unrealistic laser cannon and shooting it straight into the mouth of an even more unrealistic beast. That Resident Evil 3 strayed from the zombie horror into action genre is in line with the original title. Certainly, there are times when the game felt true to this action genre. Carlos could just mow down enemies one after the other, for example. But mainly when playing as Jill, her weapons didn't hold the same caliber of firepower, making battles with zombies more of a tedious affair. And unlike in other zombie horror games, the zombies aren't as much of a threat in a psychological sense. They are said to transmit the disease through biting, yet zombies bite you over and over until you run out of health. Unlike in games like The Last of Us where a bite means death, and thus keeps in line with its overall narrative, these zombies don't hold the same terror. In the end, I found out that running away was easier than trying to fight it. Additionally, the need to stab each zombie to make sure they were dead really slowed the pace of the game down, going from a high-intensity, survival-oriented fight to poking the corpse is not a great gameplay loop. And then, the game ends, right as Jill and Carlos escape Raccoon City as it is about to be destroyed. The 5 hours of gameplay felt jam-packed though, with fight after fight, battle after battle. Traditional games would use this moment to start the rest of the game, one that potentially focuses more on environment exploring and character building, but RE3 stops right there. The heightened adrenaline of escaping the city is over, and there's nowhere else to go that could keep up with that intensity. That's it? Isn't that like part 1? In following the Game of the Year nominated RE2 remake, Capcom had its work cut out with RE3. Did it succeed? Depends on who you ask. For action aficionados, RE3's focus on improved weapon mechanics is sure to be a hit. For those looking for a survival horror game, much like the game alluded to in its opening moments, they might be left a little wanting. But who knows what's next for the Resident Evil series? Will Capcom release Resident Evil 8? What about the next remake, Resident Evil 4? Only time will tell what happens, but Resident Evil fans have this remade RE3 to play for the time being.